Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zhang here, and today I'm back with another episode of Road to Ranked, where I climb the online series 12 ladder and provide live commentary as I go. Today we are trying out the Reshiram Calyrex Ice Rider duo team that finished second at the Indianapolis Regional Championships. This is piloted by a player called Jeremy, who has won, the North American International Championships before and won regional championships before as well. Definitely one of the best players in NA history. And he did a really insightful team report with Audie, who is an excellent content creator. So first of all, if you want to learn more about the team, I'd really recommend watching that report. I've linked it down in the description below. As always, I'll do a quick breakdown of the team, but if you want to just skip to the battles, check out the timestamps linked in the description below. And thanks for watching. If you enjoy, please show your support by leaving a like. I'd really appreciate it. So, Reshiram and Calyrex is one of the most underplayed restricted duos at the moment, and the theory behind it is that Reshiram is just absolutely amazing into a lot of common restricteds right now. Obviously, it's amazing into Zacian, which is the biggest threat to Calyrex Ice Rider, but it's also very good into things like Calyrex Shadow Rider, even things into like Groudon and Calyrex Ice Rider. Yes, they can threaten you with super effective damage, but you've got Intimidate from Incineroar. Reshiram can lower their attack via Max Wormwind, and then you have Heal Pulse from the Tapu Fini as well, right? And so Reshiram and Calyrex Ice Rider, I'd first seen because a player called Alex over from Europe had finished in the top 8 of the European International Championships with the duel, and his team had like a Mimikyu, and the idea was to activate Policy on Calyrex via Shadow Sneak. This one has a Porygon 2 instead, and the idea is, Porygon's just really bulky. Under Trick Room, Eerie Impulse gives you so much support and completely shuts down a lot of the special attackers that are restricted Pokemon, and Foul Play is just consistent damage, hitting, a lot of physical attackers for good damage, and also being able to deal a lot to things like Calyrex Ice Rider and Calyrex Shadow Rider. So the cool thing about this team is that you have, 3 very strong Dynamax options. Reshiram and Calyrex obviously are really good, but Regieleki can also be very valuable into like more offensive teams that don't expect you to just be able to like pick up a quick knockout, right? And this is modest max special attack Life Orb Regieleki, so you can one-shot things like Incineroar and Zacian with Dynamax Max Lightning on turn 1 from Rising Voltage. And so, I've had games where I lead like Regieleki plus Porygon early, Max Lightning, and just either Foul Play Eerie Impulse and then aim for a Trick Room endgame. That's one way you can play with the team. You can certainly just go Incin Porygon, set up Trick Room, and then bring out Calyrex Reshiram, and then try to sweep from there. And I've also had games where I lead like Tapu Fini Reshiram, which is really fun. It's like kind of a slow duel, right? But the thing is that Reshiram can like boost up Fini special defense via Max Quake. Fini can then go for Heal Pulse to heal up Reshiram. This Fini set in general is really unique because you've got Nature's Madness as well as Leftovers, and so you can, chunk away your opponents for 50%, and then Reshiram can often deal like the final blow, right? With like a Max Flare, for example. And so this is a pretty defensive team, and you still have a lot of damage at your disposal. One cool thing is, with the policy on Calyrex, there's no Mimikyu, but you've got, self-foul play to activate the policy as well as self-throat chop. Keep in mind that you might be doing a little bit more damage with those than you'd normally expect from a weakness policy activation, but the idea is that Calyrex Ice Rider can just snowball games really quickly. So you just get the policy going. You don't really care, let you do a little bit of damage to yourself because you are just in such a strong position. One last thing I want to talk about here is that the Tapu Fini has missed, and this was a very unique interaction that I actually saw while I was commentating Jeremy's game at Regionals, and basically miss, prevents stat drops, but what that also means is it prevents a parting shot from happening, and also that forces Incineroar to actually stay out on the field. So you can use Mist for that very specific interaction as well as to just prevent, stat drops in general, but I thought that was really cool, and I had actually never seen that interaction before, and it actually came up very, very huge in one of the games that Jeremy had on stream. So yeah, I think Reshiram Calyrex, one of the most underrated and underplayed restricted duos at the moment. I think it's going to be on a lot more people's radars now that, it's had such a deep run at both international championships as well as the regionals, but honestly, very few people are using this combo still. And so, yeah, it's cool to just feature a team heavily centered around Reshiram, which is one of the more underplayed restricteds at the moment. So thanks to Jeremy for the team. Thanks to you all, as always, for watching. And yeah, question of the day, I want to know what's one Pokemon you think is underrated at the moment. I'm, featuring this team because I think Reshiram is certainly one of them. Although Marowak we just featured, that's another one, but let me know yours in the comment section below, and let's get started. First game of the day, and we're actually up against Groudon Calyrex, which we just featured on the channel pretty recently. So Groudon Calyrex is certainly interesting. I have to worry about Sleep Powder from Venusaur. That's where Tapu Fini comes in handy. Reshiram and Calyrex offensively are both incredible here. Incineroar is also solid. Regieleki's definitely not coming out into this matchup, that's for sure. I mean, I guess what's interesting is I want like Porygon, Incin, and Fini. Because with Instant, I get a Fake Out plus Intimidate. The main reason to bring Fini here is for Misty Terrain, so if they bring Venusaur, they can't Sleep Powder me, but I guess I could always just click Fake Out onto the slot, so... Okay, I'm just gonna go Porygon, Instant, Calyrex, and Reshiram here, I think. So what's our goal to start off this game? Like, ideally get Trick Room up, because if Trick Room goes up, I think our Restricteds just do so much damage. But I certainly have to be careful about Groudon spam, either from Precipice Blades or Swords Dance stuff. So, yeah, like Fini's advantage is one, setting up Misty Terrain, and then two, like being pretty bulky and actually being able to like go for a lot of, say, heal pulses to heal up our Pokemon, as well as Nature's Madness. But I think Instant and Porygon are both so important here. They actually go with Calyrex and Groudon. Okay. So I definitely expect their Calyrex to either have Imprison plus Trick Room or just Trick Room. Otherwise, I don't know, I feel like their Trick Room answer is kind of weak here. Okay. I'm also curious about the item on Groudon. Are you like Shook a Berry, for example? Trace Sprout, that's useless. And now we get Intimidate off. So is there a White Herb on Groudon? That's my first question. No White Herb, okay. What do I want to do? Like, I'm entertaining the option of just Throat Chop and Foul Play Calyrex immediately. I'm also entertaining the option of clicking Parting Shot into Groudon and just foul playing their Calyrex. I mean, Calyrex isn't... There's a world in which they Dynamax that as well, I guess. That would be interesting. I don't think that makes sense, though. I feel like they need to deny Trick Room here. Okay. I'm actually going to click Parting Shot Foul Play here. If they don't have Imprisoned, instead they just go for Trick Room. Yeah, I think they're going for Trick Room here. That's exactly what I was hoping to see. Okay. Nice. Because the thing is, even if I don't get Trick Room up on turn 1, I don't really have that much to lose. Now my opponent is just in awful shape. Right? I get a free switch into Calyrex Ice Rider. It's time to just click Glacial Lance. I could also bring out Reshiram, right? I guess I should consider that as an option. But I think Calyrex is way too strong to not bring out right now. That's the thing. When you see your opponent's team, like, you want to ask yourself, like, what is their answer against Trick Room? And what my opponent was obviously trying to do here was just reverse my Trick Room on turn 1 of the game, but I'm not going to give them that opportunity. Cool. So they set it up for us. Thank you very much. Glacial Lance is my obvious play right now, but their obvious play then is to protect something and then switch out into Incineroar. So, like, I'm honestly down to Dynamax here. I would switch Groudon out personally. I don't need to make the read. I mean, if I make the read, I guess it would just win me the game, but, like, what if they actually, like, try to reverse Trick Room again with Calyrex, right? It wouldn't even be the end of the world with the special defense boost, to be honest. Yeah, okay, I'm down. I'm going to just Quake the Groudon slot and Foul Play into my own Calyrex to activate Policy. Yep. Should be Instinct coming in. Yep. Which is also nice. You decrease my attack, so Self-Foul Play actually does a little bit less damage. And if Calyrex protects here, honestly, the game's over. I think. Even if it doesn't protect and you go for either a Will-O-Wisp, Trick Room, or Astral Barrage, I think we're still in okay shape. Because I'm getting a special defense boost here, right? So I was kind of surprised to see that lead, but I think basically their strat is hope that I can just deny, like, reverse my opponent's Trick Room immediately and go from there. And it's like Foul Play is just decent damage on a Calyrex anyway, so even if they didn't click Trick Room on turn 1, well, Porygon's in a pretty good spot. And they protect. Beautiful. Yeah, I actually think I just win the game here. Okay, so Self-Foul Play. That's one of the things I love about this team. Like, it's both Reshiram and Calyrex. They both just provide so much value here. Nice. And the thing with Calyrex is if you're able to make a prediction, like, all you often need is one big turn under Trick Room to just win the game immediately. Because it's like now, you know, my opponent's Calyrex slot can't protect this next turn, right? Even if it does, to be honest, like if you bring out Groudon, I could just click Hailstorm, and like that's 3 attack boosts in 1 turn on my Calyrex, right? So yeah, you got the Intimidate off, but I'm just KOing everything right now. And I think Calyrex is the better Dynamax option here because of how it demolishes Groudon, whereas like Reshiram can hold its own against their Calyrex here, right? So they bring Groudon out, no surprise. Hailstorm just eliminates everything at this point, and you just protected Calyrex. I mean, the safe play here is really just Hailstorm into their Calyrex and then switch out into Incineroar right now. And I don't see really too many reasons to not play safe here, so let's just go for it. They could go for a double protect, but even then, like, with Incineroar eliminated now, Glacial Land Spam also just wins me the end game. Plus, I still have a Reshiram, which I'm waiting to come out, right? Like, I obviously want to feature Reshiram as much as I can. The Groudon actually makes the pivot, so baiting out an attack there, going out into Indeedee. Okay, I like that play from their end. I like that play a lot, actually. I think that's a very solid play. And then, like, with Calyrex here, you can aim to reverse Trick Room, right? Or go for a double protect. Either is viable here. Oh! This is an option. It's not going to work for them, but it's an option. Okay, so they're going to Dynamax Calyrex Shadow Rider. Yeehaw. I wonder if they go for the double Max Guard, honestly. Nah, they went all in just trying to bait the attack on a Groudon, which makes sense. But I have so little incentive to target Groudon there because I know I'm getting the Intimidate off anyway. And in the long run, like, Dynamax Groudon isn't even that scary because you can only target 1 Pokemon at a time. And the Incin plus Porygon combination is just too deadly for my opponent. So, yeah. Bye-bye, Calyrex. Okay. I mean, this game is just a classic example of how, like, Calyrex Ice Rider can just snowball games so quickly under Trick Room, right? Like, even if my opponent didn't switch out Groudon there, honestly, we were still in great shape because, like, I already had gotten Groudon to -2. And, like, turn 1 of this game just honestly put us in such a phenomenal position. So, I'm just glad they didn't bring Venusaur because they didn't want to play the mind games around, do you click Sleep Powder, do you just Gigantamax immediately? I can't click Fake Out now, 2 turns of Trick Room. We'll just Hailstorm into the Groudon slot, switch Incin out into Porygon. That allows us to further Psycho and Intimidate. Yeah. So Reshiram doesn't get to come out in this one, but, you know, it doesn't feel amazing to feel safe about Dynamaxing it until we can check the biggest threat in Groudon. Reshiram's, the funny thing is it's amazing against everything else, right? So in a best of 3, I could definitely see an adjustment where I end up maxing it, but in this game, it just didn't make that much sense. So yeah, let's keep things going. Next game here against rank number 44 with, wow, Zacian, Zamazenta, and Registeel. Holy cow. Don't think I've seen that. Reshiram theoretically should be amazing here, right? I mainly have to worry about... I mean, Thundurus has to be the Dynamax option here, right? What else is even maxing? Like, you would think it's just physical Thundurus maxing, right? And so, like, I have to worry about coaching. Is there ever a world in which, like, I just max Lightning to one-shot and, like, foul play Thundurus on turn 1? Also, like, this could be a game in which, like, maybe I'm willing to actually activate Defiant, because I don't think it's actually that bad, given that I have Foul Play. So, like, I'm actually down to go Incin, Porygon, Reshiram, and Calyrex. Before I lock in, though, let's think about what could go wrong for us with this lead. I guess they could lead Rillaboom plus Thundurus specifically. I feel like that's pretty unlikely, though. It's a little bit risky to lead Incin because I know I'm activating Defiant, but the reason I'm okay with that is because I know I have Foul Play on Porygon. But this is just such a cool team. Like, I'm down to get crushed by it because I don't think I've faced against a single Zacian Zamazenta team in Series 12 yet. And we've been playing it for a couple of months at this point. But the idea is to get Trick Room up, and then Reshiram under Trick Room theoretically should be absolutely amazing. Ooh, Zama plus Registeel. Okay. Now the thing is, both of these are gonna... you know what I worry about? It's Amnesia Registeel. Yeah, that's actually really scary right now. Because of that, I'm actually maybe willing to not get Trick Room up and just Fake Out and bring in my Reshiram immediately. Because, like, Reshiram offensively obviously is amazing into my opponent's entire team, right? So, like, I feel like they're going to play a pretty Registeel-centric game right now. Oh my gosh, it's Dynamaxing Registeel. Oh! Okay. Whoa. It makes sense. Like, I kind of focused too heavily on Thundurus being the max option. I just thought they were going to go for a turn 1 Amnesia, honestly. Holy cow. How? Okay. Into Quake on the Shuka. I was gonna say it could be worse, but the problem is now you can just max Quake the Reshiram slot with another Howl next turn, right? If I had just clicked Fake Out, it wouldn't have even been that much better, to be honest. The problem is now they have a special defense boost, right? So you can go for another Howl, and then Quake into Reshiram. This is so cool, dude. What? So, like, I could switch out into Porygon right now. I'm down to honestly just Flare Blitz here. It just feels so bad. Like, maybe I shouldn't have actually brought Calyrex Ice Rider. Then I'm thinking about it. Okay, Blitz. And switch out into Porygon. I don't even want to set up Trick Room. Like, Registeel probably outspeeds me under Trick Room right now. What a cool duo, man. We get Dauntless Shield. That's actually pretty sweet. They just close combat. Does that KO me? Oh. Well, yeah, I mean, with the Howl boost, it should. Reshiram could have then just gone Flare, but then you would Quake and then bring in Zacian. That trade doesn't necessarily feel great for me. Man, I am just, like, amazed right now. So interesting. Okay. Okay. Do I just say, you know what, I'm going to bring out Reshiram anyway? Like, yes, they can Howl max Quake. The other thing is to bait the Quake, or just sacrifice Calyrex, honestly. I've just never played against this duel, and like I did not foresee the Registeel being like an offensive Dynamax option, and I think the fact that it is very, very cool. Like, the thing is that Reshiram should be able to dominate under Trick. Oh, man, with these special defense boosts, though, like, I don't even know how easily I can deal with this Registeel. Got a high horsepower here. I don't even want a Trick Room. That's the thing. I don't want a Trick Room. I'm gonna recover, honestly. This is crazy. This is so crazy. Oh, man. If I were to replay it, I guess it's just instant Reshiram lead. Go with the fire types, honestly. Yeah, Registeel is very, very slow here. So my suspicion on that was correct, at least. Okay. Steel Spike. Into Porygon. Okay. Honestly, that's not too bad right now. I mean, it's just that my opponent can keep howling, right? And, like, now you can body press as well. Wow, this is nasty. This is actually so nasty. And, like, what's so awkward is, like, Trick Room would be amazing other than facing against Registeel. But because I'm going up against Registeel, it's actually a nightmare. So now you can body press Porygon. You can close combat with Zamazenta. You can even just Behemoth Bash Calyrex. Like, Bash and just high horsepower here. Or, sorry, body press makes sense, no? How do I even... What's my counterplay to that? I just got absolutely demolished by this. This is so cool. The adjustment I'd make is definitely Reshiram lead. I just like hyper focus on them bringing Thundurus because I was like, what else is your Dynamax option? High horsepower recover, but like just doesn't work here. Oh, maybe it does actually because they went for close combat. I'm just too far behind though, I feel like, to win this game at this point. So, like, I get the knockout here, but now the Registeel gets an attack on a Calyrex. You would think it just KOs me, to be honest. Let's see. It's Heavy Slam. Does that get the knockout? Nah, we're too heavy. Okay, maybe it's still doable then. I mean, you did just activate Policy, and I finally get Reshiram out, and I do have Dynamax. The problem is that I'm Dynamaxing way too late in this game. Like, I've lost way too many resources. Oh, and it's Urshifu in the back. Oh, gosh. Yeah, and I'm sure Zacian is their last one. This was so nicely done on my opponent's end. It's so fascinating. Like, I just did not foresee a Dynamax Registeel with Quake coming out. So, let us... I mean, what can I even do here? It's just over, right? Is there any way in which I ever win? I would need Urshifu to not be Sash to start, I suppose, and pick up a one-hit KO onto it. Or for some reason for them to absolutely throw and not target Calyrex here. Wait, is there a world in which I survive a Wicked Blow and I Dynamax Calyrex instead? I actually think that's my best bet right now. Max Quake? Yes, and Blue Flare. Yeah. I can't Dynamax Reshiram here. I think I have to just hope to survive with Calyrex. And then Max Quake, like, one-shot the Registeel, which I don't think is happening, but we'll see. And then Blue Flare burn onto the Urshifu. The odds of that are all so slim, but it's the only way I can see us winning. The other angle was Hailstorm Urshifu to guarantee the KO through Sash. I might just feint to Wicked Blow here, right, is the thing. But let's see. Oh, I could have considered Max Guard there as well. I don't think that's worth it, though. Okay, let's see. Blue Flare on Urshifu. You are Sash, but do I get a burn here? No burn. Okay. Well, with that, then, I think it's probably GG, but... Oh, I do KO Registeel, though. Okay. So that's the thing, right? I did find the win con, which I'm happy about, which is if I get the burn there, we actually just win, because then it's a 2v1 against Zacian. The other question now, this next turn, is does my opponent double up onto something? Because Reshiram should be able to take an attack, right? So if you split your damage and I get the knockout, and I force it to be a 2v1 against Zacian, I actually should win. So then the debate here is, if you're my opponent... Okay, they might just double up onto Reshiram, right? Saying... Like, I'm going to win against the Urshifu anyway. So then the question is, can Calyrex one-shot Zacian with the Hailstorm here? My play is either to Max Guard and attack, or just Hailstorm into Zacian here, and hope they double up onto Reshiram. I'm down to make the read they double up, because if they do go for the double, like, I don't have a way to win other than going for this, right? Yeah. And I will Blue Flare Zacian. Okay, they do Sacred Sword, yep. Did they double up into it? Yes, they did. Alright, can +4 Max Hailstorm KO Zacian is the question. The other question is whether or not Reshiram could have survived there. I actually think it may have been able to. It's kind of close. Alright, +4 Max Hailstorm Calyrex Ice Rider. Let's see. I do make the correct play and not Max Guarding there. Oh, let's go! Dude! What a game. What a game. Oh. My goodness. That's actually got to be one of the most exciting games we've had on Road to Rank. Just because, like, we went up against a crazy team and I thought it was completely doomed, but we found a way to win. Oh, that feels good. That is such a cool team, though. But, yeah, triple steal. I also didn't know if Max Quick was actually going to get the KO onto Registeel, but we had so many attack boosts. I think my opponent messed up a little bit, though. Unless they didn't have... Behemoth Bash? Did they ever reveal that? Because I didn't understand why they didn't just go for Behemoth Bash instead. But it might also be like they don't have Body Press on the Registeel, right? Because you Quake, Steel, Protect, and then maybe another coverage move. That's the most logical explanation to me. But yeah, if we had Dynamax Reshiram there, we just lose the game. And because like I need to survive the Wicked Blow there. So, oh my goodness. It feels so satisfying also to get a one-hit KO onto Zacian with a Calyrex Ice Rider. So, in that position, by the way, I think I lose if they just, you know, end up splitting their damage. If you Sacred Sword. Oh, I guess actually because I actually took Sacred Sword with over 50%, then I could win if they have split their damage if I had targeted the Urshifu, because then it's 1v1 Zacian against Reshiram, and then maybe I can take a second attack and then just Blue Flare to KO in return. But yeah, had to make the read there and end up calling it correctly. But what a fun set of games here. Oh my gosh. Third game, ranked number 77, Groudon plus Xerneas. Man, talk about the interesting team stat. I love seeing all of this stuff on High Ladder. Eerie Impulse Porygon, very good. Incin for Intimidating on Groudon, very good. Fini to stop Amoonguss, very good. And then Reshiram and Calyrex, both very good here. Lapras from their end's interesting. Haven't seen a Lapras in a while. But it makes sense because you can set up screens for your Xerneas. Who do I drop here is the question. Like, maybe it is just Fini, which feels really bad, to be honest. Like, I don't want to lead Incin. It feels a little passive here. Like, maybe I don't bring Incin, honestly, and bring Fini over it. It just means I don't have Intimidate, which feels a little bit rough. I mean, Incin's just so good in a Groudon. Like, can I really not bring it, right? Okay, I think I'm going to go Porygon, Reshiram, Fini, Calyrex. Oh, sorry, Incin, Calyrex. What I'm nervous about is if the Amoonguss is Focus Sashed. What makes sense for my opponent's end? I don't think you bring Thundurus, Xerneas, Lapras, Incin, Groudon, or Amoonguss over Incin. Both make sense to me here. So it's been interesting because, like, these games haven't been bad for Reshiram, but they also haven't been amazing. Where, like, I think Dynamaxing Reshiram is certainly possible in both games, but couldn't really afford to go for that very easily. Incin Xern. This might be a problem. I mean, you can obviously just fake out Porygon and Trick Room. Geomancy turn 1, right? But then I can Max Quake and then Max Quake Trick Room next turn and then Eerie Impulse Xern turn 3. The problem is that now Groudon becomes the Dynamax option, and that's not good. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna angle for Trick Room, Dynamax, Quake turn 1. But I think for them, it's simply fake out on a Porygon, Geomancy turn 1. We get Max Quake off. So then maybe I don't need to click Trick Room, actually, right? Because I don't know how fast their Groudon is relative to Reshiram. There's a decent chance it's actually just slower. And if I get an Eerie Impulse off, Xerneas isn't that scary. Yeah, you have the special defense boost, but your damage output isn't really there, especially because I'll get a special defense boost onto my Pokemon. So, yeah, okay. I mean, I guess one thing to also think about is Max Xerneas next turn, but with the special defense boost on Porygon, we should be good. I did Trace Fairy Aura, but I don't think it double stacks, right? Fairly sure that's the case, unless they changed it in this generation. It's funny that I don't know that know that mechanic, because like Xerneas versus Xerneas is not a thing anymore in this generation, whereas it was so prevalent in all the previous gens. Okay, no Shuka Berry on Incin. Are you AV or bulky enough to take this? The answer is going to be yes. Fine. Get that special defense boost. And flinch. Now I'm going to Eerie Impulse your Xerneas and go for another Max Quake onto Incineroar. Honestly, Xerneas maxing here would be ideal, but I don't think they're going to. And that's fine with me. I already have the special defense boost. I'll bring you down to neutral. You're not really dealing damage to me. That's fine. And if Xerneas actually maxed here, they're in terrible shape. Man, these have been some crazy teams today, though. That second game is actually one of the wildest, like, wildest moments. Ugh. I was fully expecting to lose that after turn 1, honestly, but you never give up in Pokemon. You can always find plays to win. This next turn is interesting. Oh, they Dynamax. I mean, if you don't one-shot the Porygon here, I think they just lose. But that's a very early call to say. Like, I should be in a very good position, but yeah, we'll see. The other play I was thinking about was actually just clicking Recover, because then I get another special defense boost, but I'd rather just Eerie Impulse because it also just demolishes, or makes Max Xerneas very sad, right? And they did actually end up maxing. And we survived. Perfect. Okay. I said we should win, but the problem is now they get a Groudon in for free, so it's not necessarily still amazing, but I'm happy to bring Xerneas down to a spot where it's in a... I mean, just where it's in a really tough spot, right? You're already at neutral. I still have to worry about your late game damage output, though, into Calyrex Ice Rider. I have physical damage, so it's not like I necessarily can't handle it. I just didn't want to Trick Room here, because, like, I don't know how fast Groudon is relative to me, so... Like, now they're stuck with the neutral Xerneas, with us being at +2 special defense on both Pokemon. I don't even know if another Starfall KOs Porygon, but if you bring out Groudon here, Press This Blade should just finish me off. I could Worm Wind. Nah, Misty Terrain is up. I think Flaring Groudon is the best line of action to take. I mean, I want to Flare Groudon and Recover, ideally, but I don't think I get the Recover off. So then the question is, do I switch Porygon out into Incin or Calyrex here? I think the answer for now is no. Oh, that is so interesting. They actually bring Amoonguss. Huh. But, like, Misty Terrain is up, so you can't Spore. I mean, it's solely for Rage Powder, no? If Porygon can survive here, I mean, you're at neutral and I'm at +2 special defense. Like, if I survive and Recover here, how do they ever win? I think I am just going to Recover and Flare here. Because Misty Terrain is up. Maybe they have a way to change the terrain with Xerneas. Protect, fine. I don't really care about that. It's mainly whether or not I can get a Recover off here. Let's see. Target Porygon. Ah, it actually still gets the KO. Okay. I really thought we would actually survive there, to be honest, given +2 special defense and them being at neutral, but it was close. I still feel fine about the position, though, I think, because Blue Flare now into Amoonguss is still very good. And I don't think it's ever worth switching Porygon out in that position, but I am curious about that damage calc. I have no idea what it is. Okay. I think, honestly, here, we bring out Incin, and I just click Parting Shot onto Xerneas. Blue Flare, Amoonguss, Parting Shot, and if Groudon's your last one, then, you know, we've set ourselves up for, like, Incin Calyrex as the end game. And then their Xerneas really isn't doing very much damage. Yeah. I will take a hefty amount from Max Starfall, but I don't think I should KO Incineroar here. I'm going to do the damage calc. Okay, Amoonguss switches. Yeah, that's the best play for sure. So you bring out Groudon, right? Oh, that's so interesting. They didn't bring Groudon in this match. Yeah, Starfall into Reshiram does nothing. That's why I value those special defense boosts so much. Beautiful. Holy cow. That almost one-shot. I actually, for a second, thought it was Focus Sash, not Calyrex, Lapras as a result. This is also the other awkward thing about the Max Xerneas, because it makes Amoonguss just so worthless in terms of inability to Spore. Yeah. We just have so much bulk to work with here that it just really helped us out. Cool. How many turns of Misty Terrain are left? Because the one way we could lose this game is if I set up Trick Room and let Amoonguss actually Spore everything. There's still 2 turns, but, like, Xerneas is at -1. You do no damage to me, honestly. So, like, I'm down to just Glacial Lands here. And Blue Flare. Seems fine. Without crits here, we should be in a... Yeah. Okay. Beautiful. I'm glad to feature a game, though, where Reshiram could be very good. And so today's episode highlighted everything, right? Like, Reshiram came out in all of the games. It was still pretty valuable support and was absolutely amazing for us in this third game. Part of the reason I was willing to go for that Dynamax early was because if you play Xerneas early, then, like, you clearly have, like, one very clear line, which is just getting Geomancy up. The other line my opponent could have taken was, like, switching Xern out turn 1, bringing out Groudon. And then, like, parting shotting into the Reshiram. That could have been interesting as well, but fortunately they didn't go for that. So, yeah. This team is really cool. I think the playstyle of it is actually pretty different from most of the teams that we featured recently, and it's, once again, like, Reshiram Calyrex is such an interesting duo. It's not very common on the ladder right now. It's not very common in tournaments either, but it's had some very big performances, both at the Indianapolis Regionals with Jeremy, getting second and almost winning, as well as, Alex, a player from Europe, getting top 8 with it at the European International Championships. And he's the first player I saw that really used Reshiram Calyrex and put it on the radar. So, this is still a very niche restricted duo, but it's absolutely very good relative to his usage rate. And the games today were absolute bangers, so I can't be upset. Anyway, that's going to be it for this one. So thank you so much, as always, for watching. Leave a like if you enjoy. Don't forget to answer the question of the day. Feel free to try out the team yourselves. Check out Audie's report with Jeremy, link down in the description below, and I'll see you all next time. All right, peace.